I just think, if you're running a council, you should be focusing on dealing with the potholes and clearing the bins, not making politically charged virtue signalling elements here that could actually alienate many of your own customers who actually are in your particular borough. I mean, you've got to be trying to bring people together, not be taking political stances, in my view. If you're an individual, that's totally different. Now, this boycott, divestment and sanctions body was founded by, as I say, a Palestinian, Omar Barghouti, in 2005. And he actually has called for three things. One, he wants to end Israel's occupation of land it captured and annexed in 1967, including in the West Bank and Gaza. Two, he wants full equality for the Palestinian citizens of Israel. And three, he wants to establish the right of return for Palestinian refugees. Now, this is not without... I mean, that is very political in many ways. Now, a lot of people would say that that's very just. But by doing this, if you're a council, if you're a public body, I think you're straying into very, very dangerous territory. So I do have some sympathy with why the government decided to bring in this ban through this bill, the Economic Activity of Public Bodies Bill, earlier this year, which is working its way through Parliament. So my conclusion is this. You want to go and do it on a personal level? Fine. But frankly, I don't think it's going to make any difference to Israeli policy or any policy, for that matter, of any government, number one. And number two, just make sure that you get your facts straight and you understand the whole entire picture and you don't do the knee-jerk thing that we all do, which is to take a snippet of information and base your entire philosophy and actions around that. Malik in Wandsworth, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Hi, I'm not really one for boycotts, but I have been persuaded recently by my own children.
Fascinating. Go on. Tell me.
Who are seem to be more clued up on this.
Yeah.
About maybe. But I mean, I think it comes down to what aligns with your values and about doing the right thing as compared to wrong.
Yeah.
And I think in this instance it's quite stark because, seeing starvation, I think this is a moment in history to stand up. So I think for me personally, I have slightly changed. I am now more careful where I spend my money, where I do not spend, where I choose to shop. But I mean, some of your callers, I don't think this has nothing to do with Israel. I mean, I've been so against the Jewish community. It's about right and wrong. And it's nothing to compare it with other what's going on in other parts of the world. This is on our screens. We can see what's happening. It's beyond dispute now that humanitarian law is being breached. And, seeing innocent children, women dying is completely wrong.
Yeah, well,
there's no other conflict like this in the world at the moment.
Well, I think certainly it's the conflict right now that is captivating people and is being available to people on social media in all forms, and it is really dominating the debate. Malik, thank you very much indeed for your call, and also for the fact that you were one of the people who was not so concerned about boycotts before, but have been persuaded to actually get involved in this, as I know loads and loads of people I've spoken to are the same. Martin in Cambridge, good afternoon.
Hello, Ali. I just think it's illiterate nonsense. Basically, there's nothing we can do. It's one of those problems that will never be solved. And I think all we're doing is we're winding ourselves up into the situation where we feel like we have to do something. So what my point is, where was the marchers over the Qataris importing tens of thousands of Filipinos and Indonesians dying in containers when they were building the football stadiums? Where were the marchers when over the Uyghur Muslims? I mean, or the Boko Haram going through Africa, slaughtering thousands? Where was the marchers for those? It's basically it's anti-Semitism. It all leads back to the radical left and Marx, and that goes through. Look at the BLM stuff.
Martin? Yeah, sorry, finish your point, Martin. Go on.
No, sorry. It's just the fact it's the radical left agitating people, and people feel like they need to do something, and they're playing on that.
Okay, so what do you make of Chelsea's argument just a moment before you, saying that, look, it's partially because this is captured on social media and it's captivating everybody and it's right in your face in a way that the Uyghur persecution or what's happening in Sudan or Yemen or other places simply is not?
Well, don't look at social media and read quality newspapers. I think the news is out there. You don't need social media to tell you what's going on in the world. If you feel that strongly about it, then fine.
Okay, but Martin, why is it anti-Semitic if, for example, a particular company supports the Israeli Defense Force by handing out free meals to their soldiers, right? And people disagree with that. Why? And they want to boycott that company. I mean, you know my view. I think it's all futile. But that part that to one side,
it's futile.
Right? But if they think, hang on a second, this particular franchisee of this bigger brand, a global brand, has decided to ally itself because that's what it is with this. We're not having this. We're gonna march on this by actually buying our burgers from a different store.
Yeah, what my point is, why don't they boycott China or Qatar?
Oh, well,
whatever.
That's a fair point. That is a fair point, Martin. I mean,
that is a fair point. What my point is the reason why they're boycotting is because it's Jewish.
Well, you see, it's an interesting point. Some people would argue that no, it's not to do that. It's just because it's in our face and we don't like what Israel's doing in relation to this particular thing. But I do see exactly where you're coming from, that this one particularly gets more airtime than many other issues going on in the world. Martin, thank you for your call.
At the end of the day, for me, it's a moral thing, right? Mm-hmm. I don't care if Coca-Cola will be making money or losing money. For me, it's a moral thing. I'm not going to be drinking something or eating something or buying from somewhere where I know what their political stance is on something that is quite serious, where thousands of people, innocent people, are being killed, and I'm just going to go happily and spend my money on there and happily drink, let's say, Coke. No, I'm not going to do that. During my pregnancy, I gave birth 2 months ago. During my pregnancy, I was obsessed with Coke. I would be drinking it all the time. And then I think I was about 6 months pregnant when I found out about Coca-Cola and their them opening factories on occupied Palestinian land. And I completely stopped cold turkey. And I thought it would affect me, but it hasn't really. And honestly, it saves me money, and I just don't care. So that's just my opinion.
Nafeesa, thank you for outlining it, and you're clearly you've made a point very clearly. What do you hope to gain by doing it? I understand your point that no one can force anyone to do anything. That's fine. We live in a free society. But what are you hoping to achieve?
I think look, as you can see, McDonald's is already kind of shaking a little bit. You know, they're thinking about taking back their is it the franchises? Did you say
that's
that
right. That's right. They're buying them back. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So like already you can see that it is affecting them. Now, whether it's affecting how much they're making or not, I don't really care. But I can see that they're already starting to, think about, is this because of our political stance? The main thing is to make them think about what they're doing, who they're supporting.
Okay.
I think for me, that's what it is.
I understand, Nafeesa, but if you play that out a little bit further, fine. If let's say they think about their political stance, is the argument then? What is the end game? Because do you think it will make any difference whatsoever to the Netanyahu government's policy in Gaza if you put pressure on Starbucks or McDonald's?
No, I don't think Starbucks or McDonald's has anything to do with what Netanyahu is doing. I think Netanyahu's going to do what he wants to do.
Okay, so then why bother?
Anyways.
Why do it?
Like I said, for me personally, I don't know about other people. For me, it's a moral thing.
But moral to what end? But if it's a moral to what end, apart from making oneself feel better? This is why I get where I'm struggling slightly. Is it because?
But why is it wrong to make yourself feel better? Like, why is it wrong for me to feel like this is the least I can